red light camera contracts are being renewed across America, and officials who took bribes from these companies now want the company to pay their fines. Stick with us.
This is the Jerry Doyle Show.
There's a lot of government entities, organizations, government officials, the privileged class that are always trying to pick our pockets. Every day they need another nickel or they need another dime. And it just seems as if we get assaulted like a phalanx, 360 degrees every day from everybody who thinks that they should have more of my money. Well, in one area, driving in particular, our guest Shawn, who's the director for Arizona's Campaign for Liberty and the top gun at WarOnDriving.com, is helping to keep hundreds of millions of dollars in our pockets by trying to keep these bastards that want to keep renewing these red light camera contracts at bay. He's joining us on the program. Shawn, welcome back.
You always get me laughing, Jerry, every single time. Man, I love your show.
Thank you very much. We just did a collective My Government Sucks shout-out before we went to the break because it does. It does. It sucks on every level. And it's freeing. But people are just like, oh, be careful what you say. No, we have something called free speech. I can say whatever I want. I mean, there's FCC requirements on what I can and can't say on the radio. But I can say on the radio to my government, about my government, my country is great, but my government sucks. House members, Senate members, governors, presidents, the administration, you all suck. You all suck at what you do. But thankfully, groups like yours, Campaign for Liberty and WarOnDriving.com, are out there making sure that at least we have a fighting chance of beating back some of these bastards that want to constantly pick our pockets. What's the latest going on in Arizona? This is in your backyard where you would think that they would lay low. But now, after you got these red light camera contracts canceled, now they're trying to slip them back in?
They are. For 2 weeks now, every single camera in Arizona has been shut off, and it sure has been nice. But as they now realize that their budgets are going to be severely lacking in money, they're doing everything they can to try and solve the problem. What they don't realize is that everything they're doing is just making it worse for them. Because with this ruling, every single ticket they have ever issued is a Class 1 misdemeanor where they could get 6 months in jail and a $2,500 fine for each and every ticket. Now, because every single ticket throughout the whole country is processed right here in Arizona, the lawsuits are about to go crazy. Everybody is going to get their money back. These cities that have used these illegal cameras to steal hundreds of millions of dollars are going to have to give that money back. Their budgets are going to take a bigger hit because of this illegal scam they did.
So instead of maybe spending less, being a little bit more fiscally responsible, they have no intention of doing that. So they're trying to push through something that was already put out of business with regard to these red light camera contracts.
It is, but it isn't going to work. There are rules in place that they're running into. They listen to the camera companies, and when they said everything's going to be all right, we'll just go get licensed. But they found out that they can't get licensed because they're criminals. And because it would require 3 years of apprenticeship to get the licenses, they just can't do it. So the latest word as of today is the cities have issued letters to Redflex saying, you're out, you're against the law, our contracts are now canceled.
And not only when you refer to these people as criminals, are you calling them criminals? You're actually helping to make sure that they're treated like criminals. Your organization, WarOnDriving.com, is getting people locked up.
Yes, right now we have 5 of the Redflex executives and their cohorts currently convicted of bribery, fraud, money laundering, theft. I mean, all of the above. These guys are sitting in jail as we speak, some of them, and there are 11 states left to go where politicians, city managers, and Redflex employees are going to be put in jail. We're having a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I was reading the story about the convicted Chicago official, John Bills. I'm sure you're familiar with this guy. He's the former Chicago transportation official. He was convicted of taking about $680,000 in bribes from Redflex traffic systems. And it basically is insisting that the government's case against him remains fatally flawed, and that they relied on testimony of people that they said should not be trusted. But he's trying to deny that the cash that he took, the bribe, is properly traceable to his misdeeds and not subject to forfeiture. And if it is, he wants Redflex, the company, and the executives to pay his bribery fines.
It's that old adage, there is no honor among thieves, is absolutely true. You're going to watch these people as their bank accounts are seized, as they're locked up in handcuffs. They're going to turn on each other and start feeding on each other. And that's just more fun for us, because the more they do that, the more politicians they bring down, and the more refunds that we get back for the money they stole.
And when you talk about, refunds, these are substantial fines for these red light cameras infractions or supposed infractions, are they not?
Here in Arizona, they average between $200 and $400. In California, they're $700. Illinois, they're $750.
God almighty. And this is all done under the guise of public safety, but your organization, excuse me, and others have proven that, in fact, safety goes down, that there are more accidents because of these camera systems.
Yes, there's tons and tons of studies out there proving that these cameras increase accidents. It's just ridiculous to think that shining a bright flash in people's faces at the most dangerous part of the road is going to make the intersection safer. And as study after study has proven, every time they install these cameras, accidents skyrocket. But they use that as a guise so that they can continue this illegal scam. And now that it has been proven illegal, the lawsuits are coming. I know of several $100 million lawsuits that are currently being filed in Illinois, in Florida, and right here in Arizona. And they are going to have to pay for their crimes, the politicians and the photo radar companies alike.
And do you have like a rogues gallery of people, that with their headshots with like a circle and a line through it where you keep on the wall?
We definitely are looking forward to the handcuff and perp walks of these guys as they enter their prison cells. We have a few. I'm gathering up for you, brother. I know you wanted those.
Yeah, we should have work with you guys and make sure that these people are well known. I mean, about the high profile cases, like Bernie Madoff, or Martha Stewart goes to jail for lying about an ImClone stock trade, or Wesley Snipes goes to jail for not paying his taxes. But to people in government, there's no real connection to them. We need to be locking up like this. If I remember correctly, there's a prison in Colorado that houses something like 1,500 people that's completely empty, and it's brand spanking new. I think the goal should be to fill that place up with all of these crooked politicians that have been trying to pick our pockets for all these decades.
You're absolutely right, and I'm happy that Rod Blagojevich is still serving his prison time there in Colorado. But, one thing that you've always brought up on your show, and you're one of the only people who have, is how these politicians are getting money directly from these photo radar cameras. 10%
explain that to
of each
people.
of these tickets. Now that these cameras are shut off in Arizona, they have no more money coming in, Jerry. Do you imagine the nightmares they've been having for the last 2 weeks on how they're going to pay for their next election when they don't have that millions of dollars coming in?
Yeah, I don't want to just gloss over that, but I want people to understand how it works. Shawn Dow with us on the program, director of Arizona's Campaign for Liberty, WarOnDriving.com, the website about these red light camera contracts and the criminals that they're putting in jail. Just explain to people how the contracts come into existence, how the politicians benefit financially, and why they choose to ignore the, quote, safety data or lack thereof.
Well, what happens is when a ticket is sent out and somebody actually pays it, because most of us just throw it in the trash, that money is divided up. 1/3 of the money goes to Australia, where Redflex is headquartered, and then a section of it goes to the courts. Then a section of it goes into your city council's general funds. And 10% of that ticket goes to what's called clean elections. And the vast majority of our politicians in Arizona run on clean elections. And what that is you agree to not raise money. The state will give you the entire campaign finances to run a campaign.
Right.
So they'll give you a check for $150,000 for the primary and then another $150,000 for the general. And you never have to raise money. And all of that money, 100% of it, comes from photo radar tickets.
Wow. So it's in their best interest to try and hoodwink everybody into thinking that these cameras the red light cameras save lives and, increase safety and, keep auto repair bills down and keep your insurance bills down. It's a perfect circle of what.
Well, the funny part is as these cities have had to turn these cameras off over the last 2 weeks, they're not complaining about the safety. They're complaining that Star Valley complained that they now have lost 28% of their budget. They're not complaining that accidents are going to go up. They're complaining that they don't have money.
Well, that's not my fault. That's not your fault. That's their fault. I mean, you just have to stop feeding the beast. I mean, that people go, well, what do we do about the size and scope of government? Well, you just have to stop feeding it. That's the way it works. We did a
good job of cutting off roughly $1.2 billion a year in these contracts. So we're cutting off the beast with your help, and I sure do appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Keep having fun. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing a great job there. Check it out, folks. WarOnDriving.com. Shawn Dow, the director for Arizona's Campaign for Liberty. And let's see if we can fill that prison up with all these politicians who are long overdue. 3 hots and a cot. Shawn Dow, thanks, man. Keep doing your work.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Talk with you soon. 800-449-8255 is the number. See, our government does suck. And there are crooked politicians out there, crooked enough to sleep in a trombone. And you go, well, what's a person to do? Well, there's only some things we can do. But thankfully, there are organizations out there like Campaign for Liberty, like WarOnDriving.com, that are doing for us what we would love to be able to do ourselves. But thankfully, they're getting it done. Quick break. Stick with us. Right back.